Hello and welcome to Pride of South London Fan TV. Ali here, bringing you my match review of the game at the King Power Stadium between Leicester City and Crystal Palace, which of course finished 0-0 as Crystal Palace did what they all thought was impossible and gave Ward another clean sheet. Let's get into it then through all the usual features, Vieira's rating and man of the match. I'm going to start with Vieira's rating and I'm going to give him a 5 for yesterday. Not the best performance at all, by no means vintage. We did come out with a point, but in my opinion, if we put in that performance against any other team in the league, bar maybe Forest, we would have lost. So let's address it. Where did it go wrong yesterday? Not sniffing at the point because it's something that we can build on at least. But in terms of where it went wrong, for me, the first thing, like everybody else, I saw and noticed and was disappointed by was Elise's omission from the starting lineup. And the reason is what I just mentioned in the outset of this video with my reference to Ward, the goalie, is he needed to be tested, and we only tested him once with one shot on target, which is criminal. I remember watching them a few weeks back against Spurs, and Spurs won 6-2, and Son was just firing shots at him from everywhere. It was clearly the remit and the game plan to get at this goalie and test him because they knew they could get at him, which is why I found leaving out Elise really strange. He's a guy who cuts in and loves a shot. He would have been ideal. I don't understand that team selection at all. I didn't like it at the start, and it proved to be the wrong team selection, in my opinion. I know from social media, many fans were in agreement on that. My biggest concern with the team right now is it lacks cohesion. It lacks structure. There's more cohesion in Liz Truss's cabinet meetings at the moment than there is in our team. And it's literally Decore holding the midfield on his own with about 5-6 attackers in front of him. And there's a reason why Decore is getting a booking every single game. It's because he's got a tidal way of coming at him and no one else helping him to deal with stuff. And that's why inevitably Luka Milivojevic needs to be brought on around the 60, 70-minute mark, because Decore is on a booking every single time. And listen, Wolf Hughes wasn't available yesterday, so he didn't have many other options available to him. But when Wolf Hughes is available, he hardly ever uses him. And I just think against Wolves, we just need another central midfielder. And if Wolf Hughes is available and he's back from illness, another central midfielder like Wolf Hughes in there who will just sit, help Decore break up the play, and then we should have enough in front with what I would like to see is Eze in the middle, Elise on the right, and Zaha on the left, and Edouard up top to dispose of a managerless Wolves. I will wait and see whether he does that. I'm not convinced that he will. Vieira isn't helped at the moment by a Conor Gallagher and James McArthur shaped hole. I'm not blaming the board or anyone for that. We did try and address that with trying to sign Flynn Downs, and we were really far down the line with that one apparently, and he went to West Ham at the last minute. People say we shouldn't have put all our eggs in Conor Gallagher basket, but listen, if your player of the year is looking unhappy, which he did under Thomas Tuchel, he wasn't getting in the team, then you're going to look at that as an option. But it didn't come off. And everyone at the club needs to take responsibility for the problems that we have in that central midfield area and try and address them. But it won't be easy to do that in the January window. It's never an easy window to get a good deal. So I wouldn't just assume that we're going to wave a magic wand in January and sort this out. And that's what worries me, is it feels like a waste with Zaha, Elise, and Eze, because I don't think we'll have that three together forever. But we've got no real structure behind them at the moment. We could do with James McArthur back, but you can't rely on a 36-year-old for the entire season. The other point I want to make at the moment is I feel like Vieira may have inherited some of the traits of one of his key mentors, Wenger, in stubbornness, especially around certain players. Listen, Jordan Ayew has his traits. He runs and works hard for the team. But as I've said before, Forrest Gump ran a lot, didn't play Premier League football. He doesn't yield enough in terms of end product. Got an assist the other week. But I was interested. Everyone was talking about him having a central role, possibly playing the 8 for the game. And then in his press conference, Vieira said that Jordan Ayew's best position is on the right. It's like, well, he had his best season for us down the middle as a forward, where he scored quite a number of goals, where he ended up yesterday. But I couldn't believe yesterday was he stayed on beyond Saha, who was taken off. I don't know whether Saha had a knock, and the players have to take responsibility as well. Yesterday, by the way, I mean, there was some poor performances out there, and Saha was definitely not on his game. He stayed on the one that annoyed me probably more was he stayed on beyond Edouard. Edouard's got 2 and 2. You know, he's just building confidence. He just had our first decent shot on goal, and then he got hooked. And once again, for me, Vieira's changes didn't really make sense. And listen, I don't want this to be I'm getting on Vieira's back. I've seen some ridiculous stuff said on social media about whether he's the right guy for the job. Of course, he's the right guy for the job, but there's just things that need addressing right now within the side. And the key one really is of the balance and cohesion to that midfield. I think it's basically Decore Holding and everyone else is sort of in these attacking roles. And we just need someone to get on the ball because and play the likes of Eze and Saha and Elise in. And we need to try and get that midfielder, as I've said. For now, it's going to have to come from within the squad. So hopefully he'll use Will Fuse when he's back. I thought Gyro really well came on and actually found a pass when he came on. Could he be someone that we use again? It's not ideal that we're still using Gyro, but it could be better than what's currently going on the pitch. But listen, the positive that we take from it is that we took a point. We beat Wolves on Tuesday, and then everything's right with the world again. Man of the match for me, like I said, I thought there were some poor performances out there. I didn't think Anderson looked fit. I thought he looked a bit unfit towards the end. Therefore, I'm going to give my man of the match to Mark Gahey. I thought he made a couple of crucial interventions, and but yeah, there's not someone really glaring out for man of the match this week. So I'm going to give it to Mark Gahey. I've given Vieira a 5. There's some questions to answer on Tuesday night against Wolves. I'll be doing a review of that one. My man of the match, Mark Gahey. Let me know your man of the match and your thoughts on the game below. Lots to discuss, really. Not the best Leicester performance. And I can see why the Leicester fans are annoyed and want Rodgers out because really they should have put us away yesterday. We were lucky, really, in my opinion, to come away with a point. But it'll be better on Tuesday. Let's keep the faith, and that will be all feeling glad all over. As always, if you enjoyed this video, press the subscribe button.